Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview of our QPR game, but we're probably going to focus more on the 4-1 win against Wolves.
Welcome back, Dan, onto the Villa View. How are you?
I'm good. Obviously, I was away with my proper job last week for the whole week, so that ruled me out of most things. And then I had plans after the game, so I had to rush off, so I couldn't do fan cams, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm sure everyone's delighted to have me.
Yeah, just before we start, I'd like to say a quick thanks to Matt, Max and James for stepping in your absence last week. I think they did a great job between them.
Yeah, I haven't caught up with fan cams yet, but my dad informed me that James Rushton was very, very good.
It was good.
On fan cams, so maybe it's best to keep him doing it. He might be better than me.
Talking of fan cams being good, it always is good when we've won a game. 4-1 against Wolves. No one was expecting that, were they?
No, I mean, I was actually pretty confident of us winning the game for some reason. I went into the game really confident and really excited about what Villa were going to do, because in the bigger games recently, especially at home, we have been good. So I fancied us, but I can't say, I'd be lying if I said that I thought we were going to win 4-1, because I just did not see that on the cards at all. But I thought the first half was quite even, could have gone either way really in the first half, but in the second half there was only one side in it. I mean, I was really impressed with Ruben Neves in the first half. I thought his distribution was phenomenal. And then in the second half, I don't remember thinking that once. I don't remember seeing him on the ball or any of their so-called superstars. So we're so good defensively, and the fact now that we've added so much going forward since Christmas, we can be a joy to watch at times, and Saturday was one of those days.
Yeah, I think going into half-time at 1-1, everyone would be fairly content with that. And the second half was just a totally different game, wasn't it? That I think we said in the preview that I didn't expect either team to dominate the other, whereas in the second half we absolutely outplayed Wolves in every department.
Yeah, we blew them away. I mean, I can't think of a player that had a bad game.
No, same.
On Saturday, I think Taylor had a bit of a tough first half, but in the second half I thought his recovery was excellent. I thought El Mohammadi had his best game in a Villa shirt. I thought defensively he was immense. He made some real telling contributions defensively. Terry and Chester are obviously their normal selves, and obviously Chester's 2-in-2 now. Has turned into a bit of a sniffer from set pieces. So that's good to see, because we've always said we want people scoring in every area, and that's the thing now. People are scoring. There's 4 different goal scorers. Everyone is contributing in front of goals. We can hurt teams from multiple angles, but the key cog, the one that I think is the key, is Grealish. I think when he's there, everyone plays better.
Well, just before I come on to my little stat for you, I've got to say I love James Chester's celebration. Just stands there and drinks it, and I love that.
I don't know whether it was impromptu the first time, and he's going to stick with it now, isn't he? It's going to be his trademark.
So a little stat for you on our different goal scorers, like you just mentioned. In the 11 league games in 2018, Aston Villa have had 9 different goal scorers, Grealish only getting 1. Hogan, Snodgrass, Grabban, Horahan, Adoma, Bjarnason, Chester, Whelan and Grealish. For many years we've relied on one player, not anymore. That's massive, isn't it, as well? When you're pushing for something like promotion, you can't be reliant on one player. There were certain periods where Adoma was the only guy who would score, whereas now it's, everyone's grabbing a goal, like you say, 4 different goal scorers in a 4-1 game. It's just what you need at this stage.
Well, last season Kodja was banging him in, but really no one else.
No one else, yeah.
I think Adoma only got 3 last season. So his record this season is incredible, and I think I'm probably guilty of not having given Adoma enough credit this season. I think because he's been so consistent and because he's scored what feels like every week, I don't think I've actually given him the credit he deserves. I think he's popping up with a lot of assists as well. Adoma, he's not just scoring; he gets a lot of assists. I mean, Snodgrass gets a lot of assists, but he's not scored as frequently as Adoma. But Adoma's doing both, and I've been saying recently that Johnston's my player of the year. But I think if I look at it, it has to be Adoma at the moment, just for his productivity. Not
quite sure what the actual stat is, but I think he scored like 13 or 14 and assisted 3 or 4 or something like that. So he's contributing 17 to 20 goals over the course of the season so far, whatever the stats work out to be. For a wide player, and a player that wasn't even playing at the start of the season, who's playing on the left, it's not even his preferred position, it's an unbelievable season for him.
Well, it's been the making of him, really, moving to the left-hand side, because like I say, he played the right-hand side all last season and he only scored 3 times, and from what I remember, he played most games. It's great to see, and I mean, you've said there Grealish has only scored 1, but his overall contribution is phenomenal. When he's on song, he takes 2-3 players out the opposition, which frees up space for the likes of Adoma, Snodgrass and whoever's playing up front. I mean, we could pick loads of players to talk about at the moment, but Grabban, again, he's just been so much better than I thought he was. He's a better footballer than I've ever thought he was. I've got to be honest, whenever I've seen him play for Norwich, Bournemouth, Reading, I didn't really think he was that great. He didn't strike me as being that good a footballer, but for us, he's been perfect because he's got a bit of everything. And I've heard a few people say this now. He plays the game a bit like Stan Collymore. I'm not saying
my dad says exactly the same. He said it like 3 or 4 times over the last couple of games. He says his build is just like Stan Collymore.
Yeah, he can fire shots off like Collymore. He's decent in the air. He's got a bit of pace. His hold-up play is good. He's got a bit of trickery. He does have a bit of everything, Grabban. I think he's a Premier League player, Grabban.
One player I want to talk about I want you to talk about is Robert Snodgrass. I think a few times you've mentioned that he was the missing piece in the puzzle that we didn't know we needed. Is that your line that you went for a few times?
Again, that was another one. I mean, this shows how much I know. I didn't think we needed him. I thought the squad was set, but you just look at how good he is. And again, Premier League player playing in the Championship side, Snodgrass, and he absolutely loves it here. And you can see, and he plays the game like he loves it here. And another thing that I think goes unnoticed with him, he's a leader. He's actually a leader. I mean, he moans a lot, to be fair. He's always upset, and I've got a Wolves fan who works with me, and he was saying one of your players absolutely did my head in all game was Robert Snodgrass. And that's what he does. He gets under the skin of the opposition, and he gets under the skin of the fans, and when that kind of player's on your team, you just love it, don't you? But his dead ball delivery is phenomenal.
I think that the assist for Chester's goal is probably one of his best of the season so far. I thought it's just absolutely perfect position for him.
I've been trying to think of whether he's the best dead ball deliverer I've seen at Villa, and I think he might be. The only other two I can think of that come close are Ashley Young and Steve Staunton.
Yeah, I was going to say Young, who's the one that stands out to me.
But Snodgrass's delivery is just unbelievable. I mean, all the set pieces caused Wolves problems, and people were talking pre-game about how much problems Wolves were going to cause us from set pieces, but I don't recall them causing us too many problems from there. And our delivery, Snodgrass's delivery every time was just perfect. It was right on the money.
So just before we came on air tonight, there was a blog post on the Villa website from Paul Brown. He was just talking about Aston Villa back, I think was the title. So I'm just going to read you a quick passage from that. Fans looked up and had Robert Snodgrass minutes in, beating his hand into his fist. Get into them, his actions screamed. You had Jack Grealish showing pace and grace time after time before being hacked down and then getting up for more. You had Albert Adoma smiling from ear to ear and giving us the love gesture following his vital opener. You had Mila Jedinak scowling and standing firm in the midfield battleground. You had Lewis Grabban chasing down every ball, James Chester at his immaculate best. And on the final whistle, you had Captain Marvel John Terry charging towards the whole end with a vociferous "come on" screaming from the very core of his being. It's often been said that if you play for the badge on the front of the shirt, fans will remember the name on the back of it. Well, I, for one, will remember these players, and if they keep performing like they did against Wolves, they might just write a new and glorious chapter in our glittering history book.
That's bang on. Absolutely.
Something we've talked about a lot of times as well is that you want to see players that play with some sort of pride, some sort of effort, some sort of desire to win and understand how important the club is to the fans, and this set of players is like no other that I've seen at Villa, I think.
No, I've said the same on Twitter. I mean, I want to talk about it a bit more in the podcast on Wednesday night when we record, but because I've been speaking to Big D, and he sent me some great stuff that's absolutely golden about on this subject. So I'm going to use that in the podcast. But there isn't a single player in that side who you think I don't really like them.
Yeah,
they're all great characters, and they're all good footballers as well, and they've all been key. I was thinking earlier when I was driving home, and I was thinking about we were doing the preview. Even players that aren't involved at the moment, people have come in and made key contributions. So, for example, someone like Samba, I don't know whether he's injured still at the moment, but he's come in for a period this season, and he did his job well and was key for us when he played. And then we've not seen him again. But there's that kind of thing all over it. The 11 that are playing at the moment, and I know the anchor man tends to interchange, and Taylor's in for Hutton, but that core 11 have been getting the plaudits. But there's been little cameos from other people all season. The other week when we beat Sheffield Wednesday, apparently Lansbury didn't even get on. He came running on the pitch, was celebrating a bit like John Terry was, and he wasn't even involved, just so pleased that we'd won. And the character and the spirit, I mean, the tag for Villa all season has been pride, passion, purpose, I think. And it's been bang on. That's exactly what they're all showing.
I don't know whether we talked about this off camera at some point a few weeks ago, because I was doing it. I've talked about it to you while in this room recording like this, but I don't think I ever made a video. And I was thinking that obviously I started going at 05 or 06 or something like that. Like the O'Neill era is like my first good memories of Villa, only good memories of Villa. And that team, you got people like Young, Melberg, Larson, Downing, Barry, all these great players. But I don't know whether it's because I was younger then, I maybe didn't appreciate it so much. But you finish in top 6 and Europa League and all these different things. But this year just feels totally different to that. It feels much more that you feel much more connected to the club. You feel like you're on a level with the players, that they understand what the fans want and you understand what they're doing. And I know there's a difference between finishing top 6 in the Premier League and gunning for promotion in the Championship. And I'm that little bit older now, so I understand the game more than I did when I was 12 or 13 or whatever. But this just feels totally different. Some people who are older will look at that and go, oh, well, it's nothing compared to the team of 82 and all this sort of stuff, and your era of winning the League Cup in 94 and 96 and those sort of teams. I'm interested to see if there's other people sort of my age or slightly younger or slightly older, how they feel about this team compared to teams of what they've seen in the past.
When you say it's my era of winning the League Cup, it's worth mentioning I was only 10.
I just got to throw that in there.
In '96 when we won the Coca-Cola Cup as it was then. I know exactly what you're saying, because I always look back at Brian Little's and John Gregory's times, and I look at everything else and I compare it to that, of how I felt then. And like you, I was very young then when that was happening. The O'Neill time was a good time, but I think it's been tainted for me. Everyone knows my thoughts on Martin O'Neill, so I'm not going to go into that. Now, there is something different about this. I've really enjoyed this season. I mean, we've only lost once at home, so that helps.
Yeah.
Obviously, most weeks I've gone to Villa Park, we've won, so that's always going to help. But there is something about the players and the connection that they have with the fans. I think there's something about the owners, the owner and the board as well. You feel a connection with them, and the manager as well. I don't think he's getting the credit he deserves. I mean, off camera, I've had my doubts a couple of times, but he's rid every storm that's come his way. I mean, if you remember the pictures after the Brentford game, there was videos surfacing on social media of him getting a lot of abuse, at fans singing Bruce out. But the turnaround since then, it just does go to show you that a little bit of patience goes a long way. And we've achieved nothing yet. I mean, there's a big chance still we won't go up. We've achieved nothing, but even if we don't go up, I look at this squad and I think of this season, I look back at it and think these were the guys that put the pride back in the Aston Villa badge, because for too long we've been mugged off. The fans have been mugged off. The club's been mugged off. We've watched people openly taking the mick on the football pitch, but we don't see that now. Everyone who's been putting on a shirt recently has been putting in a shift, and they know what this badge means, and they want to be Aston Villa, and they want to do well for Villa and get Villa back up. Look at John Terry. The guy.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about John Terry then as you were talking.
The guy's done a lot. There's nothing here that John Terry hasn't won really in his time as a professional footballer. But you see what this means to him. He's not putting it on for the cameras. That's just his character. If you look back at reviews from a year ago, even when we were winning, we were thinking, oh, it was still quite grim.
Yeah.
To be fair, and we were trying to be grateful because we just wanted to see Aston Villa win games. But you just think about how the performances and the results are making you feel at the moment. It couldn't be any further away from the last 5 years, 10 years.
So I know this video's titled a QPR preview and we're like 15 minutes in, they've not got a mention yet. So tomorrow night, big game, QPR beating Wolves is possibly unexpected to some people. But then if you go and drop points to QPR at home, you sort of think, well, you just could have beat QPR and not got anything at Wolves and you get the same sort of thing. It's vitally important now that in this last 10 games or whatever it is, you've got to beat QPR at home, in my opinion. No questions asked.
We've got to beat everyone at home.
Yeah.
Really, we need to win every game, don't we? 10 cup finals left, we need to win every one, and we are capable. I sound like Chris Dolan, but we are capable of doing that. I genuinely believe that. Now, we're bound to slip up at some point. There's bound to be a result you don't expect. But other teams will slip up as well. I mean, we've called games banana skins in the past. I wouldn't really say this is a banana skin, because if we play like we did the other day and like we have done on multiple occasions this year, we will win. They will not be able to deal with us, but every game is different. The ones you expect, where you blow teams away, are the ones that you don't. And the other day we expected it to be close, and we did. We were on another level to Wolves in that second half. So funny things happen in football, but I go into the game really, really confident that we'll get the 3 points, to be honest.
Yeah, because you look at the likes of Fulham and you think they've not lost in 12 or whatever it is, and you look at there's 10 games left. It's very unlikely that they'll have not lost in 22 or whatever it'll be. Teams will drop points, but you're just hoping that you drop the least points out of the few, and you gain the points when you hopefully beat a Cardiff at home and you beat a Derby at home, and these big games, and then you really start to move up a place. And I think Bruce keeps saying we'll be there or thereabouts, and we are, and it's all about where you are when the daffodils come up and all these little quotes. And that's the main thing. Have Fulham and Cardiff perhaps peaked too early? Are they going to have a little dip now and we capitalise on it? If you're second come the last game of the season, that's when you've achieved something. It doesn't matter if you were second at Christmas.
I mean, yeah, the channel, myself, we've took stick at stages of the season for believing that come the end of the season, like Bruce says, we'll be there or thereabouts. And I'm not going to say we've been proved right, because as I say, we've achieved nothing yet. But it is where you finish, and that's the message we've been trying to put across all season, and that's what we genuinely believe, that it is where you finish after 46 games, and we've put ourselves in a good position. I look back on the start and I think, oh God, if only we'd have just had a couple of better results, we'd be right up there now with Wolves in first. But I'm sure every team looks back and thinks, oh, what if this game, what if that game? Yeah. Fulham are the ones at the moment, because I don't think their fixtures are too bad. I think out of all of us, they've probably got the best set of fixtures, Fulham. But then Cardiff have got some tough games coming up. I can't remember I think they might be playing Brentford on Tuesday.
Brentford and Derby, I think.
Yeah. Although Derby are doing their usual little bit of a choke, a little bit of a wobble that they do at this stage of the season. But Cardiff have got to go to Brentford, and as we found out when we've gone there, it's not an easy place to go. Brentford are very good at home, and Cardiff will slip up, but they've done well because they've been around second all season. Cardiff, they've been around the autos all season, so they're not going anywhere. And if they finish there, they'll have deserved to finish there. Whoever finishes second deserved it. Personally, the playoffs will probably give me a heart attack, and I'm praying to God that we can nab second. But you can't call it at the moment. Anything can happen. I am confident that we can get over the line, but the only thing is it's not in our hands. When we went to second after we beat Birmingham, finally it's in our hands, and then lo and behold, the next two games you only pick up a point, and it's out your hands again. So it's not in our own hands, but we're in phenomenal form. I mean, I think Howard Hodgson posted something earlier of the last 30 games. I think it's the league table since September or something. It's been doing the rounds. So the last 30 games, we're the best team in the Championship, and you watch us on Saturday and you think, well, we can be the best team in the Championship. There's a chance. Wolves might wobble now. That result would have done them no good whatsoever, losing 4-1 to us. That's the kind of result that really dents confidence and puts doubts in players' minds. I mean, I didn't think they looked great in the second half, and I don't think they were at the best the first half. They had a couple of good moments, but they could very well wobble now, and then you're suddenly talking about, are Wolves going to drop into the playoffs? I mean, Brighton last year were top for ages, and then they ended up finishing second because they got complacent. And I don't think Wolves will get complacent, but the wobble can happen, and it can happen to anyone. Yeah, I still think Wolves will finish in the top two before they all start coming up in the comments. But can you just imagine if they drop out top two, and all this time you think, oh, it's Fulham, Cardiff and Villa competing for second, and in actual fact it could be two of those three end up in the top two. Yeah, I mean, it would be justice for all the stick they tried to give us all season, to be honest. I remember I was quite late getting to my seat because I've been doing my AVTV stuff, and I had to walk past the Wolves bit of the stadium. And I walked past and I thought, the way they were singing and shouting and cheering, I was like, are we playing Man U? what have these guys ever done to be singing like this? There was a bit of arrogance there, right? I know sometimes Villa fans get accused of being arrogant, but I think there was a lot of arrogance from Wolves fans, and you saw some of the ridiculous things you see on social media. I mean, I'm sure if you go back, trawl through my social media, as we know, I've made some bad shouts, but the guy who said that Jack Grealish wouldn't even get in the Wolves 18, do me a favour. He was dancing past the Wolves players like they weren't even there. And these are players that are apparently Champions League players. There was only one guy that looked like a Champions League midfielder to me on that pitch on Saturday. Yeah, Mile Jedinak. Yeah. I was going to mention that comment. I'm glad you brought it up because I totally forgot about that. I saw Matt Kendrick's reply to it before the game. I've replied to him back saying, I'm going to nick this for a video. The guy was like, oh, this Jack Grealish won't get anywhere near the Wolves 18. That's the golfing class. You'll all see tomorrow or whatever. And Matt Kendrick was just like, yeah, but will the Wolves 18 get anywhere near Jack Grealish? We'll see. So did he do that straight away?
No, yeah. That was before the game.
Oh, well done, Kendrick.
It was a great reply. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yes, I really hope Grealish runs it tomorrow now just for this tweet, just so I can go back and retweet it. So I know you've got a couple of QPR supporting mates. How are they feeling ahead of this game?
He wasn't confident. My man saw him today, Dean Spencer. He was not confident at all. He says they're virtually safe now, so he thinks that they've not really got anything to play for anymore, because he says that I think they're 13 or 14 points clear of the bottom three now, and he name-checked the fact that Birmingham City and Sunderland are absolutely rank, so that's 2 spaces gone anyway, which I enjoyed, the Birmingham City jibe. But he wasn't confident. He says if Villa play well, they'll win, because I don't think he thinks they've got much about them this season. They haven't spent any money. This is probably one of the worst sides they've had in the last few years, but in some ways I think they prefer it a bit like that. I don't think they liked it when they were throwing all that money and buying people like Samba for 15 million or whatever it was.
Oh God,
he cost at the time. So he comes in low on confidence. Obviously we've beat them already this season at Loftus Road. That was a great performance. I was there that day and I remember how well we played that day, and that was one of the days where I thought, right, we're back. We're starting to make something here. But as I've said before, there's no guarantees, but he's got low hopes and I've got high hopes, I'll put it that way.
So then we'll end this QPR match preview when we've talked about Wolves for 20 odd minutes with a prediction. What do you think ahead of tomorrow's game?
I will plump for Aston Villa 2, QPR 0. What about you?
I think we'll win. I've just said I don't think I've thought about a scoreline yet. I feel like we'll win. Let's go another convincing one, 3-0. Why not?
Got first goal scorer?
Terry. I've said him every preview. I just want it to happen.
It's
going to happen at some point.
I had him down for Wolves, actually, Terry. I had him down in my fan score for Wolves. I'm going to go for Chester again. These things happen in threes. So put all your money on Graben to score first now, because me and you've gone for Chester and Terry. So that's it for today's match preview. That actually wasn't really a match preview at all, if we're being honest, because we're still buzzing from the 4-1 win at the weekend. If you have enjoyed this video, then give it a big old thumbs up and comment below with your thoughts on the game and what you think the score's going to be. And don't forget to get your fan score in and see if you can keep up with me and Rollo, who are really setting the pace in the fan score at the moment. If you're not subscribed to the channel with your post notifications on, if you could do that too, that would also be absolutely brilliant and really, really help the channel grow. We'll be doing fan cams as usual outside the whole 10, so if you are at the game, come and speak to us. We obviously got a load of regulars that always come and speak to us, but we're always looking to speak to new people. So if you are at the game and you fancy getting yourself on YouTube, come down and have a chat with us after the game, where hopefully we'll be talking about 3 points to Villa and an opening goal from James Chester. Tom Julian is still on holiday, so it'll be me and Dolan in the podcast booth on Wednesday, which has just reminded me I actually need to book that booth, so I'll make sure I do that when we've finished the video. So get your questions and thoughts in on social media. We'll put a tweet out on the day to get your questions in. Thanks for all your support. Let's hope Villa keep winning. Up the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.